Before we start with anything too official, I might end up having to cut this part out, so we're going to show it now because we might lose it due to music rights. But remember I told you guys about that record player? Well, we got it. And you'll never guess what we found in the barn. So this is the record player. It's got a really cool front on it. And I found some Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass. Doesn't that just make it groovy, man? I'm gonna tell you a quick story about that. I don't know if you can still hear it over here. You'll have to tell me if you can still hear it. Yes, a taste of honey. So we found this in the barn. And it's got five albums on it. Interestingly enough, it does not have Spanish Flea. Couldn't believe. Oh, sorry. So, good evening, Bill. How are you, sir? Welcome, Leah, Sean, Jeremy V. Welcome. All right, let me turn that off before I lose all my copyright issues. All right, sorry about that. But I'm fairly certain if I play that, it's going to they'll can my chat. So we're back out with the fire, as you can see this evening, and we are drinking just regular old chamomile tea, even though it kind of looks like liquor. It's not. It's tea. It's delicious. Leah says, "Wow, that's awesome! It plays so well in the heat and cold." Yes, it does, and they were in the barn for, I don't know how many years. It's from the 70s, so a very long time. Modern Yeoman says, "Love the new logo, man. Thank you very much." So I have interesting news on that front. My nephew's been working with me, and we have two logos that we're going to do with the shirts, and I ordered one of them, and it did not come out right. But I'm going to show you guys. But please don't order it yet, because it's not. They goofed up where the logo goes. So this is on the front of the shirt, Flannel Farms. You can see it's not exactly where the pocket goes. And on the back, it's got Grow As You Grow. So Bill says, "Oops, I forgot my tea. Wait for me." So I really love this logo that he made. But apparently Teespring is not letting us put it over where the pocket would normally go. So what I think we're going to do is put Flannel Farms across the front of the shirt. And then we're going to put the tractor on the back with the Grow As You Grow. So that is still in the works. I have a link up on our About page on the channel, but don't order it yet. He's literally working on it tonight. I was hoping to have the samples arrive today, and I was hoping to do this big unveiling. That did not work out for me. But that logo has been done by a friend of mine, and she did our Flannel Guys shirts for the stump grinding business, and she did our stickers. So she has created the logo that you see on the YouTube page that we're also working on uploading onto Teespring as well. So you will have a option. Don't order it now, Trey, you booger. I'm telling you, don't do it. Not yet. It should be ready by tomorrow. And when it is, I will order another sample, and then I will tell everybody. The other question I had, oh, I'm sorry, before I get too much further, who was it? Jeremy V asked, did I end up working on Christmas? I did not work on Christmas. I was able to come home. So we worked Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, I was off, and then I worked again yesterday and got off this morning. So, Trey, by the way, how you feeling, buddy? You doing okay? Um, that's a side note. Another question I had for, I guess, a question I had for you guys is, I'm looking at ordering some stickers, um, potentially both logos as well. One with the tractor and grow as you grow, and then the other one that you see on the YouTube page. And I think they're going to be somewhere around $4 or $5 a piece. And if that's something you guys are interested in, I would appreciate not a head count necessarily, but not even a soft order. Just if that's something you would be interested in, if you would like 2 or 3 of them. So let me know. Leah says, if we get the wonky one, it'll be worth more when you're famous. Sure. Be like a bad penny, right? When it's all struck off. So thanks. Bill says, so glad you were off Christmas Day. So am I. It was a lovely day. I got to come home. We did our presents 2 days beforehand, just in case. So we did it Christmas Eve. We didn't have anybody over that day. It was just us, just me and the wife and kids. But it was a nice day. It was almost better to have it broken up that way. Our friends came over. You've seen Carl come over several times with his family. They've helped us on the farm before, and they're dear friends of ours. And I don't mean to say that they would have made it more difficult, but having Christmas morning and the day to open presents, and then when we actually were on Christmas Day and we were off, we were able to just kind of enjoy the time with them. And they came over about 11 o'clock, and they did theirs, I think, on Christmas Eve. So they came over. We had Christmas dinner about 3 o'clock, and we looked through the stars. We had our telescope. That was our big gift for the kids this year, was a telescope. It's got a mount on it where you can see the stars on your phone mounted to the telescope, and then it will like bullseye you in on what you're looking for. And then the telescope is pointed right at it. So, yeah. Jeremy V says, price them into the t-shirts and throw them in with each order. Lots of companies do that. Leah says, I want the grow as you grow one for my seed box if you get stickers done. Okay. I'm thinking of that, Jeremy, either adding them to things, or if people didn't want a t-shirt but just wanted a sticker because it was less expensive, you can do that. I don't know if you can see it, but this is my new flannel for Christmas. This is a big one, and then I got this one too. I'm 2 flannels, man. 3 flannels. I forgot. And I got my my flannel slippers going on. So we are 3 levels of flannel tonight. So Christmas was lovely. Had a great time with them. And one of the pigs is theirs. They've picked one out. They've named it Applesauce because they like applesauce with their pork chops. So that's his name. But the animals are doing really well. I'm almost scared with how well the pigs are going. They haven't gotten out. They haven't gotten sick. They are just clipping right along. So they're doing good. But what I wanted to talk to you guys this evening about, and this is normally where my brother says content starts now, is this kind of weird week between Christmas and New Year's, and kind of the time of year that we're in. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really look forward to New Year's like I did when I was younger. I'm older. I go to bed earlier. It's just exhausting. So, I don't stay up to midnight anymore. That's not really fun for me. So, Jeremy actually says, is it a fashion faux pas if your flannels match? They actually don't match. The one I'm wearing out here is rust. This one is actually buffalo, but it doesn't matter because it's dark and you can't tell. So, but I don't care. I like it. I'm going to wear all the flannel. So there's this weird week between Christmas and New Year's. And even though, I mean, New Year's is still something to kind of look forward to, you know, people make resolutions and do all that stuff. I'm not really into New Year's resolutions, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it's almost like Christmas is like Busch Gardens, and it's amazing. And there's these world famous coasters and everything else. And then New Year's is kind of like a carnival in like a shopping center, you know, field or something, where it's kind of similar, but it's really just not as cool. And there's this week in between that's kind of like a twilight zone where you're kind of coming down off of Christmas, but you're not like you're kind of excited for New Year's, but everybody knows after New Year's is just the doldrums, right? There's just months, and it depends on how far north you live, I guess. Um, hey, my brother's here. He says, "Merry Christmas, flannelites." Welcome, my brother. So you have this kind of weird time, and everybody knows after New Year's, there's just hours of or months really of not a whole lot of fun things to do. So I was thinking about that with the gardens and with homesteading and that type of thing, and how this is really the time where you set yourself up for success for the rest of the year. I'm working on a video right now. I've got most of it edited, but we were adding more organic matter to our garden, and we are working on our greenhouse build. We're going to build the greenhouse almost entirely out of poles from our own property. So we've been out harvesting and cutting poles. And also, before I forget, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button for me, that would be great. But we we're working on building that all now, because in March and April you're going to have that thing up and ready. And if you don't get the compost in the ground now, if you don't start that process, you don't have the time. There's no time for it to break down. So you can play catch up in early spring and get some things done, but you really are setting up your whole year for all the fun stuff if you start taking care of it now. And even a few months ago, I mean, November would have been even better for compost. And of course, compost is a yearly process. It's not something that you just do now. But so I was thinking, I mean, I'm trying to get the poles in the ground. We're trying to build this greenhouse so we have a place to start some of our slips and different seeds. I want to build eventually a hoop house, I've been told they're called. The large, it's basically a large greenhouse, but you can actually grow things in there, extend your growing season. I want to get one of those built as well. But I'm not as concerned with that until later in the year. And I was thinking, David the Good says, this is the Monday time of year. Got to start on the right foot. Right. People say that like winter, when people get older, it's the winter of their lives. And I disagree. I almost think like this is your childhood to teenage years. And if you go make a bunch of stupid mistakes, right, it's going to be a lot harder for you to play catch up later, as opposed to making good decisions now. And I was thinking about that, and I thought, well, how do you get motivated to do these things? And I mean, I worked yesterday. I was on the fire truck, and I think we took 11 or 12 calls. The ambulance didn't leave the house without us up until like 7 o'clock in the morning. And somebody I worked with once said, so when you're in the fire station, I'm sure some of you know this, but we'll just go back to scratch. We have tones that go off. We don't have the bell. We have tones. So different tones dispatch different units. And when the tones go off, you don't try and get motivated to go to the call. You don't try and like gin up some emotional response to go get things done. You just get off the couch or out of bed or whatever it is, and you just do it. There isn't a thought of trying to, feel some kind of way, or maybe you don't like it, maybe you don't want to, maybe you're going back to somebody you've gone to 45 times, maybe it's a fire alarm that's always going off. It doesn't matter. You get up, you put your gear on, you go. And somebody I worked with said they wish they had those tones at home, and the tones would drop, and we always joke, we call her the lady in the sky dispatch. Whatever the lady in the sky says is what you do. And this person said they wish the tones would go off and the lady in the sky would like play at their house, and it would be like, beep, go clean your garage, beep. And you would just get up and go clean your garage because you don't have a choice. You're so ingrained with that sound and that person telling you what to do, you just do it. And the time is not your own, right? When you are signed up and you are on duty, you're on duty. There's no wish, there's no hope, there's no whatever. When the tones go off, you go. Doesn't matter if they've gone off 40 times, it doesn't matter if they haven't gone off all day, doesn't matter if you've worked for 10 hours, it doesn't matter. You just go. So I got home today and we were up several times through the night last night for various calls, nothing serious or tragic. People call 911 for all kinds of reasons. And I got home this morning, and on the way home, I stopped at the grocery store and spent 40 minutes very dutifully getting the appropriate things on the list that my wife sent me. And I only strayed a little bit from the list, which I'm told I'm not supposed to do because I tend to buy half the store because my wife is a bit miserly in a good way. But if we need toilet paper, I buy like 85 rolls of toilet paper. I don't buy like, 6. I buy tons of them. If she says we need lasagna, I buy like 9 boxes. I don't buy like 4. So, but I did good. I stuck with the list. Jeremy says Oreos. No, but I did get some kettle cooked salt and vinegar chips, which I'm really excited about that I'm going to eat after this is over. And they had European truffle chocolate Christmas ones on sale. Normally $7.99. They were $1.80, so I bought like 4 boxes. So I get home, right? It's an hour and 10 minutes to get back to my house. I get home. I come back from the store. I shower. She made me a lovely breakfast, so I had a nice farm breakfast, egg, sausage, toast. And then we grabbed our equipment and we went out. And I filmed a bunch of it for you. You'll see a lot of it. Hopefully tomorrow evening I'll get that up. But we did a lot of work today. Besides all the regular chores that we have to do, which we fed the pigs and we fed the chickens. We cleaned out part of the coop. We refilled up their 55-gallon water drums. And David the Good says, the chips are my Achilles heel. I cannot buy them. I will not buy them. That's right. They are. Oh my gosh, they're so good. But so we had to take care of all of our regular chores first, and then we turned around and we started adding organic material to the gardens. We mowed a bunch of it to make it finer so that it breaks down quicker. And then we started cutting poles. And the whole time we're doing this, we're filming it. And my daughter helped film today, so you're going to see some actual like cinematography. And a friend of mine gave me a GoPro. Chris gave me a GoPro to use, so we've experimented with that in this video. So I'm hoping you guys really enjoy the next video that comes out. We put a lot of effort into the different angles and things like that. But I was really tired all day. And I kind of just wanted to go take a nap. But I only have so many days that I'm not at the fire station to get things done around the homestead. And my wife's not going to fire up the chainsaw and run it. It's just not her cup of tea. And we just kept moving. We came inside, we ate lunch, we went back outside, we started working. And I think we worked all the way up till about 4 or 4:30. And then I came inside, I took a shower, and I started editing the video. Hey, Brett. Brett says, howdy, gang. Hello, Brian, David. And we just kept working. And I really, really, really wanted to come have this chat with you guys tonight. I was determined, if you will, to have this chat. And I got to be honest, I wasn't very motivated today. There was not much in the way of emotional response. And I realized that there's a massive difference between motivation and determination, right? Motivation, I can give you motivation with some upbeat words and some fancy music and whatever, right? I can say encouraging things in all my videos and I can help motivate you. And that is one of the things I want to do. I want to help motivate you guys. But motivation is temporary, and motivation can be like reward driven, right? So if I go to the gym, then I can eat that bag of salt and vinegar kettle cooked potato chips. If I think about going to the gym, then I can eat the kettle cooked potato chips. I don't even have to go. I can just think about it, and that's good enough. But that's what motivation is, right? If I do this rubbish thing in front of me, I will see X result. But the problem with motivation is it can be co-opted, right? So the reward centers of your brain can get flipped by not doing things you should do and doing things you should not do because they feel good temporarily. And those are powerful motivators. Not having things hurt is a powerful motivator. Things feeling good is a powerful motivator. But determination has nothing to do with your emotion. Determination is something that it's almost, you can't help it. It's an unstoppable force, right? So, um, my brother, I'll go ahead and use him as an example, has always been determined to be different. And if you look at it, I think he posted it in his live stream, like the percentage of, I think, America that he's in is like 0.01% with how many kids he has under 18 and things like that. But he's always been determined to be different. He's always been determined to be successful, pursuing a career path that was different from everybody else. His motivation has come and gone, but the determination has never stopped. This property we're on this year has been the culmination of like 15 years of determination. You don't have to have evidence for determination. You don't even have to know how it's going to happen. You don't have to, and I'm not talking about speaking mumbo jumbo into existence. I'm just talking about setting your face like flint, I think is the term. And no matter what happens, you are going to do the thing in front of you. You are going to achieve whatever that goal is. Somebody I like to use, or I think of often as an example, is Dwayne Johnson, right? The Rock. If you've ever read anything about that guy, the dude's like 52 years old and he's built like a locomotive. If you've ever read his daily schedule, he, like 3 o'clock in the morning, the dude is up and in the gym every single day, right? Doesn't matter if he's flying across the country to film a movie. It doesn't matter if he was up all night shooting. None of it matters. None of it matters. The dude is determined. He was determined to be successful. And so nothing stood in his way, regardless. There is no motivation. He is just determined. So in our little life, we were always determined to get our kids out of the country. Or, I'm sorry, get our kids out of the country. We were determined to put them in the city so they get smart like all them fancy slicker kids. We were determined to leave the city, and we were determined to do it in a financially stable way. And it didn't matter what the economy did or didn't do. We just kept plugging along. And so I have that same feeling about food security now. So we have made it to the woods. We are out here, but that was not the end of the goal. That was a huge chunk of it. But I am determined. My wife is determined to make this work and to have food security. And I will use my wife as an example for determination. We've been homeschooling our kids the whole time, and we do only have the 3. But about 4 years ago, she was determined to help us make our goal. So she started working 29 hours a week and homeschooling the kids and taking care of 80% of the house because she was determined. And I can tell you, emotionally, many days, she was done with almost all of it, right? The kids are kids. They're no better or worse. I love them, and I'm particularly biased. I think they're amazing. But it's difficult to homeschool kids. It's difficult to take care of a house. It's even more difficult to add a 29-hour-a-week work schedule. But that didn't matter because she was determined to get here. She was determined to have the farm, determined to raise our kids that way. So now that we're here, she has quit her job. She's down to 5 hours a week, I think, but it's a consultant basis. And the determination has paid off. But now we are determined to make a go of this place. We're determined to have the homestead be successful. And so I would like to motivate you as best I can and hope that your motivation turns into determination. Motivation is a good start, right? You have to have some type of response to want to do things. Hey, Carla. Carla says, hey, Brian. I bet a bunch of people have said hi. Maybe I should stop and go say hi to people. So, Betty says, yes, external motivation as opposed to inner motivation. We might need both. And Jeremy says, stubborn flesh. You got that right. Leah says, put the chips out where the chores that you put off are, like a carrot dangling on a stick. I love it, Leah. That's awesome. My brother says, I forced myself to go to the gym this evening. It needs to be done, and we make it happen. You do need to hold the flesh to account. You are correct. So, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. One of your favorite inspirational quotes. Yeah, donuts. Donuts taste as good as... They're real good. Hi, Betty. How are you? And hey, Carla. Hey, Carolyn. Welcome. Betty says, in my Squad 1 group, one Girl Scout said that a friend, a buyer, said bulk beans were going from 6 cents to 24 cents this month and going higher soon. That is motivation. Man, you got that right. Bill Elrod said, I wish my bank account didn't hold back my determination so much. Yeah, so money's a big one. And it is hard to do this stuff without money. It really is. But there are steps you can take when you're motivated and determined that, and Bill, you're doing them. I've seen your rig. Bill is really, really good at seed propagation. If you haven't found his Facebook page, I highly suggest you find it. And his plants and stuff are phenomenal. You've done a lot with a little space because you're determined. You're determined to have those seeds sprout, and you do it, and you do it well. But yeah, Betty says beans are getting expensive. Everything is getting so expensive. That's why I'm building, in part, why I'm building stuff out of the trees that I have on the property. Even though they're not big enough to, cut into planks and do all that wonderful stuff with, they are big enough to build my greenhouses with. They are big enough to build my pig shelter with. I'm hoping to fix my auger for my tractor. I broke the universal joint in that video. I forget which video it was now, 4 or 5 videos ago. Expanding the homestead, something about fruit trees or something. So, but I need the universal joint and the part that holds the universal joint in. The whole thing busted. But I need to get that fixed, and then we're going to start putting poles in the ground for the cows. And even if they get inflation under control, which I highly doubt, but even if they do, it's just going to... I don't know that things are going to get cheaper. They'll just slow it down for a bit. And things just keep getting more expensive. They always will. And so your buying power and things like that. Now, when wages keep pace with inflation, obviously, that's okay. I don't like it. But we're not. We're not even close. I got a raise at work this year, which I'm very happy to have a raise. But it was like 3 or 4% less than what the inflation was. So they gave me a raise, but I'm still making less than what I was in purchasing power. So, Jeremy says, can we grow pinto beans in VA? I have no idea. I did grow some red, like kidney-looking beans from the grocery store, and then the deer ate them all. But they grew. And beans are something I think you can grow a fair amount of and let them dry on the vine, even if you don't have a whole lot of space. I don't think you need a lot of space to grow a decent amount of beans. So our plan is to grow a lot of potatoes, a lot of squash, and a lot of beans, and then have other things in between. But those are going to be my staple crops for food for 2 reasons. One, I will eat them. Don't grow stuff you won't eat. It's not worth it. And 2, they store. Dried beans store. Squash come in their own container. I mean, there's not much you have to do. Potatoes are a little more fussy, but not much. And they will store, and we're going to dig a root cellar. So those 3 crops, very easy to grow. And it's a lot of calories. So Brian says, I've been in the yard trying an experiment. I'm doing terra preta thing, but it's like David's melon pits. I'm digging a bunch of closed holes pretty deep and filling them with stuff and burning them. Oh, cool. So there you go. Bill Elrod says, Jeremy, he asked about beans. He said, that's our most prolific crop here in Charles City, beans of all types. So yeah, I don't see why not. Hey, controversial Chris. Dave said watch, so here I am. I appreciate you coming. Rip, how are you, sir? Welcome. Good evening, Susie. Modern Yeoman says, I'm all about the taters. So, Adam says, hello, all late, but here, darn wood splitting after work. That reminds me, I think the fire's getting low, so let's throw a piece of lighter wood on there. If y'all don't know what lighter wood is, I've done a video on it. I'm gonna do a video on how to find it too. Speaking of stuff getting more expensive, I was at the Ace Hardware and they sell fat wood or lighter wood, which we did a video on. And actually, Bill Elrod has a whole bunch of it at his house. So if you need some, just go to Bill's house. I'm just kidding. Don't go to Bill's house. But it was like 14 or 15 bucks for 5 pounds of split fat wood, lighter wood, whatever you want to call it. And you can find it out in your yard. It's really easy. Yep. Carolyn says, if you have pine trees, you have fat lighter. It is. It's just old pine trees. Super easy. But I have some. I have some out in the forest, and I'm going to do a video here pretty soon on how to find it and locate it, what it looks like, so that you can see it easy and you can get your own quickly. So, yeah, Bill Elrod says, you can eat beans fresh all summer, then let them go dry to the vine to finish off the year. Yep, you are good. Jeremy says, so I hear you can get used hops from local breweries and feed them to your pigs. Might be a good cheap feed source. You can, Jeremy, and there's a couple breweries in the city of Newport News that I work in that I'm interested in stopping by and seeing if they will let me do that. There we go. That fire's better. Yeah. The other thing I've been doing is taking a 5-gallon bucket to work and letting all the shift guys, as they're done, fill up our bucket and bring it back and feed the pigs that. So, but the pigs have so much space where they're at that our feed has not been a substantial cost. I think since we got out here. Now, my wife has a book, and one day I will convince her to come to a live stream with me because she is the list person. The Modern Yeoman, Sean, my buddy, did a video on making lists. And I teased him a bit underneath the comments because I hate making lists. I am not a lists guy at all. I understand that they're important. I know it's hard to measure goals and things without lists. But the thought of stopping to write things down that I'm already thinking of that I have to do anyway makes me bonkers. Now, I will make a list of like materials that I need and things like that. But one of the reasons I get away with my list-free lifestyle is my wife is very good at making lists. So she keeps us on track with the lists and the accounting and the numbers and all that stuff. So, excuse me, I should have a cough button. She knows where we're at. She knows how much we've spent. But I think we've spent something like $300 in feed for our 65 chickens and our 5 pigs thus far. And we've had the pigs a little over a month. And I think I've fed them something like 150, maybe 200 pounds worth of feed. Now that's actual feed, not slop and however much they're rooting through and for. So, but yes, I am looking for ways always to cut down my feed bill. My cat has come out to visit. Oh, you're not gonna? Okay, well, come here. No, all right. Caramel's come out to say hi. Hey. He's been spending a lot of time indoors lately, and I was worried that he wasn't going to catch any mice anymore because he's supposed to be our barn cat, and he's supposed to be out there catching the mice for us. And I was literally complaining walking out the door about how he wasn't catching anything, and he's in the backyard smacking around a mouse. So he is doing his job just so. So, Brian says, I've also been using grocery store beans as a cover crop and mass builder. Yep, that's awesome. It's so easy. It's unbelievable how easy it was to grow store beans. I mean, it was no different than growing any other beans, I guess. And Carolyn says it's not bad for a A feed bill. Yeah, no, it's not. They're doing well, and that's in part because of how much space we have given them. Like I said, I think the pigs have something like 7,000 square feet, and the chickens are on 5,000, give or take, square feet. So they've been doing fine. The Delawares have eaten a whole ton of feed, but that's because they're in a pretty small space with the chicken tractor. They don't have the free range access, and I have not moved them. So Jeremy Visa said the pigs been staying in the wire boundaries. They have, like, except for that, literally the first day we castrated the first two. I set them in the wire, and two of them just walked out the back like it didn't exist. And I thought, that's it, it's over. Like, there's no way these pigs are going to stay here. They're going to run out of the wire. I spent a week and a half training them on this training area, and it did no good. They're just going to leave. It took me, my farmer buddy, and my wife about 10 minutes, and they walked back through the wire into the thing, which made me even more concerned because everything I've read and all the videos I've watched said that pigs know where the wires are. And even if you take a wire down, if a wire had been there, a pig won't go there. So you have to build a corral that's never had a wire and all this stuff. And I thought, I'll never get these stupid pigs back in this dumb wire and what a blah, blah, blah. And they walked right back through it. And then I thought, well, great. Now they've walked back through it. And now they know it doesn't shock them. It will shock them. It just didn't hit on that 1 second they walked through it. And I thought, there's no chance. So I adjusted the wires just a little bit to make them a little more narrow. And I have not had a problem since in the 3.5 weeks they've been out there. They haven't tested it. They haven't, I mean, my wife said she's waiting for the shoe to drop. Because pigs are intelligent and they can get bored, they become escape artists. But I think in part because we put them in such a wooded area, there's so many roots for them to chew on. There's so much space. The chickens, our house chickens, the 4 of them, go into the pig area, which I've also been told is risky for the pigs. I mean, not risky for the pigs, risky for the chickens. And when the pigs feel frisky, they chase them. They chase the chickens around, and the pigs are like frolicking in there. And they're like dogs almost. And you can go up to the fence and the wire and pig, and they just come bounding over, and they'll eat out of our hands now. They are using the nipple waterer as well. They figured that out real quick. I put a little syrup on it and tried to get their attention with it, and they ignored me. And then like 4 days later, I went back out there, and they were just chomping on the nipples. So they are using the nipple waterers just fine. So yeah, unbelievably well, thankfully, so far. Yeah, bit more. They're so much fun to watch. And I'm enjoying this lifestyle so much that on Christmas, after we'd had our Christmas meal and everybody was feeling nice and rotund, we took some garden chairs, whatever, lawn chairs. I guess if we were in Britain, yes, we'll be out in our garden, and we took our garden chairs. They don't call them yards in Britain; they call them gardens, even if it's just grass, and it's not a garden at all. But we took our chairs out there, and we set up our folding chairs, and we just watched the pigs play, and we watched the chickens romp around, and we just chatted and watched the animals play. And it was wonderful. And then when the sun went down, our friends stayed long enough that we were able to throw some blankets out, and we pulled out the new telescope, and they were able to you were able to see the moons of Jupiter. We looked up the Seven Sisters. We looked up the Orion Nebula. There's a nebula in Orion. You can actually see the gas cloud. What else? We looked up Rigel, and we saw probably 5 or 6 shooting stars, a couple satellites. It was just really cool. So anyways, let me scroll up through some chats in case I missed anything. There's Jeremy stuff. My brother says, I just secured 8 acres for use for growing land raised crops. We're going to do watermelons, pumpkins, and corn. Let them all cross, then save those that survive and thrive. Cool. That is awesome. Man, just being outside growing stuff is so much fun. Brett says, if I had 8 acres, I'd call it Acres Green Acres. Bill said, glad the bacon is happy. It is. They are happy. Yeah, modern yeoman. I don't know what they call like their other. Well, I think what they call it is small holding. Like if you're actually growing produce and things, I think it's called a small holding, and we call it homestead, small holding, whatever. I've watched a lot of British TV on Amazon because it's free. So, um, Jeremy says, "Are the pigs safe from predators?" I think so. Uh, Chris says, being British, I'm impressed, but I'm uncomfortable with you saying nipple repeatedly. I apologize. I don't know what else to call it. I mean it spigot, the pig spigot spout. The pigs were drinking from the spigot. I'd call it a spigot, I guess. But when I think of a spigot, I think of like a turn knob doodad. But um, an allotment. Ooh, yeah. Sabrina says I've seen a few YouTubers called it an allotment. I know what you mean. It's not a little mint. It's a lot mint. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Dad joke. Jeremy asked if the pigs are safe from predators. So the only predators I think that would give the pigs any type of issue. Brian says, "Gotta go, y'all. Grows you grow, grows you go." Brian, thank you. Have a good night, bud. Is I have heard that coyotes come through here and there, and Bill Elrod says brazen Americans. Um, so and the pigs are so big now that I don't know that I need to worry about coyotes even. They're pretty chunky. They put on something like a pound and a half a day, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were 50, 55 pounds already, maybe even 60. I mean, their haunches they're pretty chunky. So Sean's got to go. He's got to take off. He says, "My friends, God bless y'all. God bless you, sir. Thanks for coming by, buddy." Um, so I don't think I need to worry about that. There are hawks in the area and some things like that, but I don't think that's going to be a problem for the pigs at all. So we don't have any wolves. I haven't heard of bears around here at all, so I don't really think there's anything that can mess with them. So we have them pretty well secured in their pig pen from the weather, and I think that's the main concern is the weather. So, but yeah, things are going well. It's good Christmas. Looking forward to the new year. Looking forward to a full year on the property, trying to get some stuff done. I mean, I know we've been here for August, September, October, November, December. So 4 months now, and we've gotten a lot done, but there's a lot more to do. Whole lot more to do. So, um, there might be a Baphemus. Do you think there might be a Baphemus on the property? Might. That would definitely take out a pig. Baphemus. Sorry. Little side note there. But anyways, it was it it was a long night last night, and it's been a long day. So I am open for some questions if you guys have them. Not that you haven't been asking them already, but I did drink my tea awful fast, so I'm gonna have to either get another tea or we're gonna have to have some questions. Um, there you go. There's a good one. Jeremy V says, "Hey Dave, when are you coming up to do a collaboration?" Yeah, we're gonna do a collab. That would be awesome. You can help me put in my grocery row gardens. I mean, what's the point of having an expert in the family if they don't come up and be experty at you? uh I think your kids should record Bahimas. Bahiformas? I don't know. So my kids have been doing if you'll forgive me if I stray into talking about the kids a little bit. They've been doing Goober Productions. Come here. There. Say hello. They've been doing Goober Productions. I have given them our old phones and a SIM card. Not a SIM card. Our memory card. I put a memory card in the phone. I gave them the good mic, the MV88, and they have been recording Goober Productions. I might talk them into letting me upload one of them. They're hysterical. I taught them a little bit on how to use the editing software, and they've been adding sound effects and music and transitions and all kinds of fun stuff. And they've been having a really good time with it. So we might have to do something. But Bill says, "Are you tilling the organic matter you've added to your garden area?" I have not yet. So what I've been doing is Jeremy V says just get them their own YouTube channel. Maybe. Um, uh, I mowed it down a lot and tried to get it to break down that way, and then I am planning on letting it sit and kind of rot as is. I might move the chickens back over the area and let them kind of chomp on it and break it down. So Leah says the motivation versus determination talk was salt and vinegar chips for thought. Thank you, Leah. I liked it a lot. Thanks for that tonight, Brian. You're welcome, Leah. These are just stuff that goes through my head, and I figure I'd share with y'all. Carolyn says, start growing as much as you can, people. The Ice Age Farmer says we will need it in about 6 months. In New York City, if you don't have a jab card, you cannot buy food. Yeah, it's scary times. I'll touch on that in a sec. But so we're not tilling it in yet, Bill. We're just letting it kind of sit and rot, and I've mowed it. And then I plan on using the tractor to kind of disc it in. I'm not going to plow, I don't think necessarily. I think I'm just going to disc. So instead of doing the deep plow and disturbing all the soil, I think the disc will just kind of churn it all up together. Very, very surface. Only going down like an inch or so to just kind of churn it up a bit. And then we'll grow in that as it is. Right now I'm leaving it all open and on the top because I also want it to kill all of the organic green weedy stuff that is in that area now. And then once that's done, we'll disc it in. So yeah, Carolyn says if you don't have the jab card, you cannot buy food. It's getting worse. And lines are being drawn, obviously, with those who have cards and those who don't. And it doesn't really matter how much money you have in the bank if you can't buy food for whatever reason. And that's part of the food security drive that I've had and been motivated to do. I've done a lot of the things that conventional wisdom says you're supposed to do. I have a decent paying job. I have a retirement account and, health insurance and all those wonderful things. But that only gets you so far. If there's no food to buy, for one, then it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're not allowed to buy food, it doesn't matter how much money you have. So do whatever you can do. And we have talked before about how it is a whole lot cheaper to go to one of those, food storage website places and essentially buy MREs that are good for 25 years and go spend 10 grand on MREs or whatever they are, frozen meals, dehydrated meals, whatever they are, and buy like 8 or 9 of those straws that last forever, and filter, sewer water and things like that. And if you do those two things, you'll be good for a long time. My brother says, sorry, every time someone coughs, it might be the end. I thought every time an angel coughed, a variant got its Omicron. No, a COVID got its variant. Every time an angel coughs, yeah, there we go. My friends have had regular like sinus infections and normal colds, so I've been around some people that have been kind of sick. But turnips, yeah, grow turnips. But I'm still pulling turnips out of the ground, and there was one in there right now that is I mean, it's a monster. But you can store food and those kind of things for really cheap, and I don't know what good money in the bank is if you can't eat. Now, I don't know what all of y'all's financial situations are, and I don't know, I'm not saying go spend $10,000 on food. I'm just saying that if you can survive for 6 months to a year, you're better than 85 to 90% of the population, and eventually people die without food. So you will be okay to go do whatever you want to do to live. Bill says get a hand pump on your well. Yep, that's part of the plan. Hand pump. I also want to get a solar pump too, but I want both levels of redundancy. So, but one of the things that preserves food really well is it still being alive. So if I just harvest the chicken when I need it, then yeah. So Betty says spinning YouTube is on to you. Yep. YouTube, they're gonna get us. I have not made any recommendations for lifestyle choices or offered medical advice. But yes, prepare. And here's the thing. I know we've talked about this before, but we're going to keep talking about it until it's not a problem anymore. Something always happens, right? Something always happens, whether it's a storm that knocks your power out, or it's economic turmoil, or it's war, or it's disease, or it's famine, or it's locusts, or it's whatever. Whatever. There is, the milkmaid says, hey there, CFP sent me. Wonderful. I am so happy she sent you. Welcome. Something always happens. So if you have food, you are good. If you have things in place, you're good. So it might not be cards. It might not be EMPs. It might not be a solar flare. It might not be a storm. It might be you're out of work. Maybe you get hurt. Who knows what? But if you have those things in place, one of the books I read, I think it was the encyclopedia. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was Making the Best with the Basics. We talked about that early on in one of our live streams. It's a great book. It breaks down everything for you. It shows you how to make a list of what is most important to store and what isn't, and those kind of things. And no matter what happens, if you're prepared, it's really hard to have an emergency. So I would encourage you, nay, motivate you to be prepared. And not just for yourselves, but if you're prepared, then you can be a resource to other people. Now, one of the things that we're trying to do is provide this place for people that can't do it on their own for whatever reason. So this place is an insurance policy, not just for my family. It's an insurance policy for like 4 families currently that like literally that are in my area where if things go south, they are going to move here and we are going to work together to live. So, oh, David, not CFP. So, well, thank you, Milkmaid, for coming. Carolyn says, I just ordered a Premier electric fence and solar charger. I want to secure my garden and chickens from predators and people. Yep. Carolyn, we're actually talking about ordering even more fencing. The brain we have will do something like 30 miles of electric netting or electric fencing. So, yep. Speaking of food, Rachel cooked me a steak. I have to go. Gotta enjoy steak before it's too late. Enjoy, my brother. Thank you. Joe, hey, he says, hello, Brian, and everybody here in the chat. 50 minutes late. Guess I got to watch the replay later. Yeah, Joe. Joe, you motivate me. Let me just put that out there. You'll understand when you watch the rest of it, but you are a motivating factor. Your comments are always upbeat, and you're a pleasure to have in the chat. Betty says, the Bible says there will be seed and harvest, etc., until Jesus returns, so keep on planting. That's right, Betty, and we're not doing this out of fear. We talked about that before, too. We're not going to be scared. We're not going to do this fear and cowering in the basement and hoarding food and any of those things. We're not doing that. We are going to be prepared. We're going to be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. And one of my favorite verses that says, he that stole, let him steal no more, but instead work with his hands so that he has something to share. We are going to want to do these things so that the people who were unprepared, people in our families perhaps who were unprepared, people in our churches, in our communities who are unprepared, we can take care of them to some degree or fashion. And we can upscale things to take care of them. I was talking to my farmer buddy over here, and he said during the Great Depression, they actually had a boarding house on their property, and people were like just walking down the highway looking for work, and they would bring them in and feed them, and they would work on the farm and stay in the flop house for up to a week or two and provide labor and food. So that's the kind of thing I want to be. I don't want to be the one needing the handout. I want to be the one that's able to help. And I know a lot of you people watching are that way too. And we all have what we have and the gifts that we have from God. So whatever you have, use it and be a blessing to the community around you. So let's get rid of that one. I don't need you. I don't know what that means, so it looks weird, so we'll get rid of it. Sorry. The Milkmaid says Premier One is an awesome company. Yep, I have enjoyed them a lot. So, yeah, Milkmaid, I was just getting to them. Sorry, my chat is on my computer over here because we stream with my phone. We do the live stream with my phone because it actually does better on the cell tower than my internet does through my computer. So I have my chat over here in the corner. So I apologize for the delay. So, Mama Lou Bear says, "What, didn't Rachel just give birth and she cooked the steak? That's a hearty woman. She is amazing. She is one of the coolest ladies I know." So, anyways, Jeremy V says, "When did the next video drop?" I'm hoping tomorrow. I got most of it edited today. There's a couple more things I want to do. Like I said, we were playing around with the GoPro today. It's the first time I've done that. So I'm trying to add different things, different elements, trying to keep it fresh. Joe says, "Why is the serpents as gentle as doves?" That's cool. In Mesoamerica, serpents were synonymous with wisdom and intelligence. Doves. Anybody that has had a wild dove alight on your shoulder while working? I have not had one land on my shoulder. No, that would be pretty cool though. So yeah, I hope to get the video out tomorrow. What I'm not sure is how long it's going to be, because I have enough for one video and I kind of put an end on it and I can send it out. But I haven't finished the. Oh, I'm blocking the fire. Sorry, somebody tell me next time. I'm not sure how long the greenhouse build is going to take, so I'm not sure if I'm going to just put this one out as kind of a part 1 and then film more of the greenhouse part 2. It might take 3 parts for the greenhouse. I'm not really sure, but I've had fun with that GoPro and playing with some different video editing stuff, some picture-in-picture things, some time lapse. I'm really trying to make it interesting. So, yeah, that's about where we're at. So hopefully it drops tomorrow to tomorrow night. It depends on how caught up I get, man. I tell you what, I get busy with the work, and oh my goodness, the Milkmaid says, sorry, it's lagging on my other side. Hurry up, come on, hurry up, it's lagging. The Milkmaid said, oh, there she is. I said, enjoyed popping in. I subbed, but I have to go to bed. 4 a.m. comes early. Amen to that. It does. I get up at about 5 to leave for my job. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Milkmaid. Welcome. We're glad to have you. Carolyn says, you're awesome to prepare for your neighbors. I'm preparing for my family in Georgia. None of them are preparing or know how to grow vegetables or chickens or anything. I'm 5 hours south. Yeah, Carolyn. I do feel like, so, you know, if the guy in the lighthouse, let's use the biblical example of the watchman on the wall, right? If you are the watchman and you're screaming from the wall that the enemy is coming and nobody does anything, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You gave the warning. But if you know the enemy is coming and you fall asleep on the wall and you don't do anything, you are responsible for their blood. And that's a heavy burden, because I know a lot of you are paying attention to what's going on. You see the crises that are coming, manufactured or otherwise. And you are watchmen, people, humans, persons. And we are doing our best to let people know it's coming. Now, not everybody has the privilege of owning property like this. Not everybody has the privilege of being in a financial situation or a time of life where they can do that. But everybody can learn a skill, right? I mean, Carolyn, I'm not sure how many of your family and things are doing things. I don't know how many you have in your family that could do stuff. But I know I have family members and people in my church who don't have the property, but they are learning certain skills. And they would be very useful out here. So if it all goes to survival mode, they will come here and we'll do it together. They don't have their head in the sand, but they just aren't in a situation where they're able to just jump ship out of the city yet. I mean, it took me 10 years to get back out of the city. And thank God I was able to do it before things got too crazy. But that's also been my goal, and my determination was to get out of the city. So, um, yeah. Jeremy says he loves the bonus footage. I do. I have so much fun with it. I know it's kind of an overdone movie thing, but some of the stuff is just silly and goofy, and it doesn't really fit anywhere else. And I just like to chuck it in so you guys see how not professional we are. If that's the one shtick I think this channel has, is I'm not a professional cinematographer or YouTubist or homesteader or anything. We're just out here having a great time, and some of those things that you see mess up, they make me laugh, and so I want you guys to see it. So Bill says, don't forget about Facebook, folks. Get on Flannel Farms Facebook, encourage Brian with some activity. Well, thank you. I do my best to do something with Facebook, but really this channel and you guys here and doing the live chats is really where my heart is. I really, really enjoy having some evenings with you guys. So Betty says the Forager's Guide to Wild Foods is one. My wife bought me for Christmas. I should have brought it out. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Is like the like wilderness survival guide guy and how to build like primitive shelters and things like that. She bought me a book from a guy, I think he was in World War II, like some Australian dude, and how to make all this stuff from scratch, all the way down to like thatch huts and just really cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to digging into that. Yeah. Joe says, are there any live streams on the Facebook or just uploaded videos? Normally, Joe, I don't post. The whole point of my Facebook page really is to draw people to the YouTube channel. So you're already here. But occasionally I'll throw a picture up or something like that, just for platform's sake. I've also joined a group called Homesteaders of Virginia. So there's some tips and tricks and people that ask questions and things like that. But really, you guys are my jam. So Brian, Leah says, show the shirt again before we end tonight so everyone can see it. Okay, so this is one of the designs that we're working on. It didn't come out quite right. My nephew has made this for us, so it did not line up quite right. It's kind of in the middle, and apparently Teespring won't let you put it like in the pocket area. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Flannel Farms and make it real big across the front, just Flannel Farms, and then on the back is going to be our flannel tractor. That's Lucy, woo, and it's going to say "Grow as you grow." Nice big on the back. And then you guys have seen our new YouTube channel logo that was made by my dear friend Becky. And we're working on putting that on a shirt and potentially making stickers. I'm not sure yet how we would sell the stickers. We might do a just through the PayPal or the P.O. box. And if you want some, let me know. And I'll put some prices and stuff up there. We also have a mug coming with the tractor on it. I think it's super cool. It should be here soon. So we will get those ordered soon. Does anybody else have any questions? Even though I don't really want to end because I'm enjoying your time so much. But I also don't want to waste your time either with the idle ramblings of a madman. But that fire looks good, doesn't it? Maybe we should put Herb Albert back on while we close. Maybe we'll do that real quick. If anybody has a question, throw it up. But I'm gonna start Herb again as we leave. Hopefully it's not too loud. Maybe it's too quiet. My neighbors. Well, I mean, I only have one. He's, I don't know, 800 feet that way. But there's no other noise tonight. There's no crickets. There's no nothing. You must think I'm crazy. Excuse me. Carolyn says, my brother and brother-in-law won't even learn how to butcher a chicken. I would try and teach my nephew, but your brother and sister don't get it. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. Sometimes it feels like you're screaming into the wind. trying to warn people. But Joe says, merch, yes, but ship locally in the States or also internationally? I don't know. Joe, I'll tell you what. If they don't ship it to you, I will ship it to you. How's that? We'll make it work, bud. Carla says, don't go. You're entertaining me while I wash the dishes. So let's talk about dishes. My growing up, we used to have Friday night movie night, and every night my dad would pick some movie, and we would sit down as a family and watch a movie. And of course, my poor mom had to do dishes, and I remember asking her, Mom, remember this movie we watched? Yeah, whatever. Mom, remember this movie we watched? Whatever. And she never remembered parts of the movie and any of those things. And I was like, how can you not? We watched this movie like 4 times. Well, because Mom was always in the kitchen doing dishes, making dinner, doing those kind of things. So she missed so many movies doing dishes. So God bless you, Carla, for doing dishes. Jeremy says, did I make the 2 nipple barrels? One for the chickens and another for the pigs? I did. Didn't you watch the video, Jeremy? Oh my gosh, what do I make these for? Yeah. Yes. All I did was tap the barrels and put the pig spouts. Don't want to offend the British now, do we? The pig spouts into the directly into the barrel. I cut the springs on the chicken one so it's not as stiff, so that they can do it easier, get the water out. You need Mambo? There you go. There you go, whoever asked Leah. There's your Mambo. Sorry, the only dance I can do is a 6-step Austrian box waltz. That's the only one I know, because many, many years ago I was in a low-budget production of The Sound of Music, and I was a backup dancer. Anyways. All right, well, I think we're gonna call it a night, you guys. I do appreciate it. We should be back next Monday because I'm working Sundays. But if there's some sort of problem with that, I'll let you guys know. But I do appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for sharing this evening with me. And we will see you again next week. And the video should be up tomorrow, I hope. So I look forward to reading your comments underneath my most newest ridiculous thing. In case I don't see you, which I don't think I will, Happy New Year. God bless you. May the new year be better than the last. Oh, what a few years we've had. So here's to 2022. Here's praying. Night, guys.